Committee. Sir, it's good to have you with us today, and you wrote an op-ed piece in Politico saying that we must not balance the budget on the backs of the elderly, the children, the sick, and the poor, but you say, sadly enough, that that's the approach virtually all Republicans and certain Democrats will be advocating. How is that?
And you just heard your media pundit to the same thing. Look, in America today, you have the most unequal distribution of wealth and income of any major country on earth. You have the top 1% owning 42% of the wealth. The bottom 60% own 2.3% of the wealth. So the first question is, who should bear the burden of austerity? Do you really go after Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, nutrition programs? Do you really want to throw kids off of Medicaid, force elderly people who are struggling to stay alive to pay more for Medicare? Or do you ask millionaires and billionaires who have done phenomenally well, whose effective tax rate, as Warren Buffett reminds us, is quite low? Do you ask them to make some sacrifice? Second of all, I think Washington and the Beltway is way out of touch with the American people on this issue, Thomas. Every single poll that I have seen says that we should ask the wealthy to stop paying their fair share, do away with all of these corporate loopholes. 1 out of 4 major corporations pay 0 in taxes. We're losing $100 billion every year because the wealthy and large corporations stash their money in the Cayman Islands. Now, do you really think we should continue to go after ordinary people who are really hurting in this recession, or ask the wealthiest people in large corporations to start paying their fair share? The American people have been very clear about this. This election also told us something about this.
Senator, you also say in your op-ed piece that Congress must address the deficit situation and the fiscal cliff in a way that is fair. What proposal do you have moving forward, knowing the way that the Hill works right now? What do you think could work best to do something with that front?
Well, you see, when you say knowing the way the Hill works, what you're really saying is knowing that the Hill is dominated by campaign contributors, lobbyists, and wealthy individuals. What can we accomplish? Well, that's one way of looking at it, Thomas. The other way of looking at it is actually very radical, is do what the American people want, have the president go out to the red states. If you go to Oklahoma, you go to Mississippi, and you ask people in those states, should we continue to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? You know what they will say in the reddest of the red states? They say, that's crazy. We shouldn't do it. So I think, given the fact that in the last 2 budget negotiations, in 2010 and 2011, Democrats made huge concessions, extended Bush's tax breaks for the rich, lowered taxes on the estate tax for the very, very wealthiest people. I think what the Democratic leadership has got to make clear is that this time we're going to represent ordinary people, the vast majority of the people, and we are going to ask for some austerity and sacrifice from our Wall Street friends and corporate America.
Senator Bernie Sanders, sir, nice to have you with us. Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Coming up, Tea Party freshman Allen West giving up his fight to stay in Congress after a